Welcome back, or welcome to Mega Late Show Tokyo, Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture podcast. If you're watching this on the Secret House channel, rejoice. Your mind has produced a jewel. You'll recognize Jet over here on the side. The Mega Late Show. This is year 6, episode 2. Today I'm rocking with two of the homies. But first, before that, let me just say shout out to the 4 patrons that we got on our new Patreon. Oh. Links in the comment if you guys would like that. The Mega Late Show has also got a tremendous back catalog, as I said. This is year 6, so we've done mostly primarily in studio recordings, except for a few that Late did over the phone when he moved to Atlanta, but plenty of in studio recordings, not with video, with a variety of tremendously talented fucking artists of all varieties. You know what I mean? We get culture dripping from all sides. I think I'm gonna have Scheme Richards on soon, so for those of you that know him through Breaking Culture and his phenomenal DJing out of Philly, yeah, that'd be dope. So yeah, thanks. I am Mega and I'm the host, and today I've got two of the homies. Initially it was just supposed to be my homie Ghostpops, who's been on the podcast a few times, but I'm just going to disregard myself. No.
I need squad. So,
yeah, I'm with it.
Move squaddy.
Yeah, so Ghostpops is one of the dopest, most talented, prolific, and ubiquitous producers out here in Tokyo. He's really blown up tremendously in the last few years, maybe 2 years. He's fucking in a skyrocket. Maybe the HNIC producer out here now. I don't want to. I don't want to undersell it, but you know.
I don't think that's true.
Producer, musician,
I have to co-sign that.
Visual artist, a former tattoo artist, also the HNIC of the Tokyo Dope City Studio in Koenji, right?
Yeah, that's it.
It's like, yeah. So Ghostpops, yeah. Shout out, Ghostpops.
Thanks, bro.
South Africa
Appreciate
represent. You know what I mean? You can see he's very elusive here. I told him I could blur his face out, but he was like, mask on. All right, so
he's saving you some work.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
I felt bad for you. So
it's much easy. I do all the editing on the phone, so shout out to videos on phones. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all of it. And I also got my man Kraftykid, who is a writer. A musician, I should say, songwriter, MC, a member of the Hilt. He is also a visual artist. You guys will recognize the Hilt. I've had them on several times. And yeah, today we just kind of do it up big. You know, you've got a lot of new projects coming out. You've got projects coming out. You've also just released some projects. On the last video with Jet, on our conversation, I mentioned the new video you guys have with Okada. Is it pronounced Yebi?
Shout out Okada. Yeah, Yebi.
Yebi? Yeah, produced by Ghostpops.
Shout out Guillaume.
You and Okada MCing. That came out like 2 weeks ago. The video.
Something like that.
What's it? It's on like 25K or something.
It's on like 20K.
Yeah, when I checked like 2 days ago, it was like 19. Man, you guys are blowing up. That's phenomenal. Yeah, man. 25,000 views on that.
20.
It'll go up once.
It'll go up.
Once
Yeah.
the record drops, it'll be better.
Yeah, obviously. I don't really know Okada very well. I met him just that one day, but he's emceeing in French on that. He's a Japanese. He's a Japanese MC though. Yeah.
So he's half Japanese, half Vietnamese.
Oh, okay.
But he's born and raised in Paris.
Oh, okay. That's where the French comes in. Okay, it's a really dope. That's drill music.
Adds nice flavor to the tape. So.
Bro, and I'm in the music video too, all black, everything.
Yes,
you look good in it, bro.
Yes, you are.
I was trying to just be angry in the back because I don't be dancing and shit no more. So I was like, yeah, you know what I mean. You can see me a little bit.
Drill can captivate you. Like
you recognize, you know what I mean. I want to be angry and shit. And we shot that where in fucking Kabukicho, Shinjuku.
Yeah, that was my friend's club. He has like a Kabakura club, and it only opens at like 11 p.m. so we could shoot there early, and he basically didn't charge us or nothing. So
shout out to Boss Man.
Yeah, he owed me money, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
For those outside of Japan, Kabakura is the hostess club.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we was up in there. Yeah. And Kabukicho is one of the grimier areas in Japan. I think
it's my home,
right? Yeah, that's where you kind of cultivated yourself there, yeah?
Yeah.
It's one of the grimier areas. I was checking, and like Ikebukuro is still in the top 10 worst places for crime.
We got a little red light district.
Yeah, I mean, both me and Crafty just lives down the street. We both live in the midst of it.
Right.
Walking home every night, you see the sex workers and the Yakuza cats and the Chinese Dragon Gang cats.
It's so relative though, because literally where all of us are from is 1,000 times worse than the
that's
worst
true.
place in
Of course,
Japan.
of
Like
course.
Kabukicho Shinemiya, like you can walk around with headphones on, have your phone out,
can do
looking
that
down,
anyway.
not paying attention. There's no problem.
If you drop your wallet in Kabukicho, someone will come get
You
it.
still get it back. You
Word.
still get it back. You go to the police station, they'll give it to you.
But that's the nice
yeah,
thing about
yeah.
it. It's the best of both worlds. It's like you can still.
It's grimy, but it's not like dangerous,
I
unless
totally
you're
agree
fucking with the
that.
wrong people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that.
Heavy police presence out here. Even like you guys stopped by the police coming
got
to the spot
stopped.
today. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
What?
I haven't been stopped in years. The last time we got stopped was
Damn.
actually me and Crafty. We got stopped in
What was
Takadana
that?
Baba. Were you there?
What was that?
Was that you?
I-
Maybe you weren't there actually.
Taco Denababa.
The last time I got
and
stopped,
he just checked our ID. Actually, he didn't really fuck with us like that. So he,
That
yeah,
might have
but
been
today
someone
I
else.
got today I got mad body checked. It was crazy.
the
So
last
today-
time I got stopped was also in Takadana Baba. And I work
yeah.
there, so there's two cops that hang around at the station. There's like a lady cop
Yeah,
and there's
yeah,
like
yeah.
a slightly older guy. And I don't know, I know better than to let the Japanese cops have it because they don't give a shit. But I was like, you see me every day. I wear a
Right,
suit.
right.
That's like my local police. Like they stop me so many times. It's like my face. Come on, like you've been to my
got it.
door.
Honestly, Takadana Baba, one time I was about to get stopped and I was in a really bad mood and I was like on my way and the cop was like, yo, over here. And I was literally on the phone and I looked at him and I was like, yo, the fuck out of here, bro.
Hey.
And then the cop took the junior cop and they walked away.
Yeah.
Like, because it was
You like
embarrassing
that.
to them.
Yeah.
So I don't think Takadana Baba is like that deep with it. It's
Nah.
like
I've
they're
got
not that
the
committed
get out
to
of jail
their
free
job.
card for
Yeah.
just telling the police like fuck off a couple times.
I've
Yeah,
been like, hurry
yeah.
up, like.
Yeah, they
Like
really,
if you tell
they
them
really
hurry
don't
up,
want
they'll
that.
actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
They don't want you to be late to
No,
whatever
they-
function you're going
Yeah.
to.
They also like they don't seem that committed to their job. Like no offense,
Right.
like I don't want them to prove me wrong or nothing, but it's like I don't think they're that committed.
Yeah.
Like they're just wasting time so they have to go home. That's how I feel
doubt.
about them. Yeah.
Well, the kind of racial profiling is definitely a problem here in Tokyo for anybody that doesn't appear to be Japanese or an Asian-looking person that is. Oh, you dripping all over yourself, bro. I'll blur it out.
Change.
No, but yeah, you could take the mask off, dog. I'll blur it.
Oh really?
Yeah. Easy. No worries. But yeah, there's actually a class action lawsuit happening right now that's got maybe hundreds at this point of people who are going to be applying for that. Like I got interviewed by NHK because like Ghostpops, I've been stopped by the cops like over a dozen times in my 10 years here, and they were just talking to me about my thoughts on it. And the writer who wrote for Mainichi Reporter as well, he sent me the papers for the class action lawsuit. So I think I'm gonna sign up for that. So I don't care if I get $1 for it. It's just like
Wow,
whatever.
really?
Yeah,
That's
That's
wow.
dope.
I'm up for it. I can get you guys the class action lawsuit paperwork if you're into it. But yeah, if you're in
Yeah.
Tokyo and you're concerned about that and you're worrying about that, yeah, hit us up in the comments and I'll shoot it to you via email or whatever.
That's the crazy thing actually, because like I just want to comment on that. Like the reason why I wouldn't get involved is because I run a business out here and I run an LLC. It's the same reason I didn't take money from the government during COVID, even though like my business was directly affected by COVID. So you're in a weird position because like you want to, you are owed this stuff and you want to do it, but I don't want to get to the point where it's like I'm at the immigration office and they're like, yeah, we don't fuck with you anymore. And then I don't really have any recourse because they
Yeah.
don't really need to have any reason to not
Bet.
do anything. So it's
It's like, give me a reason.
That's a good point.
yeah,
you got
so
the
I-
permanent residency, right, Mego?
No, I don't have permanent
don't?
residency yet, but I've been
Okay.
here for 10 years.
You
almost,
got a
yeah.
Japanese
right.
child.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But no, they
Do you
still
pay your
fucking
pension
around.
bills?
Yeah, I do pay my
Oh,
pension.
then
I
you're
pay
good
my
then.
national health. It's wild out here. Like you could with the right education, you get permanent residency in a year. But they still want me to prove the shit. Like my wife is also Okinawan, so that might play into it. You know what I mean? You
Right.
never know. There's a lot of xenophobia and othering that happens here, but I feel that I'm also one of the I'm an ambassador for Ikebukuro, so maybe they're gonna revoke my little discounts that I get too. I gotta
It's
worry
tough.
about that.
It was like the same thing during like the Black Lives Matter like protests.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to go, but then I'm so worried about losing my livelihood out
Word.
here.
I
And
don't be thinking.
they can be doing stuff like that, And it's like I'm running like a proper company, like it's like a LLC, and my visa is tied to it. So I feel like if I step out, if I sneeze incorrectly at the station, they might be like, "Yo, okay, we're not gonna renew it." It's like, okay, great, but like I invested like 20 grand in Japan, and I can't take that away. Like I'd have to bounce out with every, you know. You see my studio, it's like
super nice.
I'd have to get rid of everything, and it's like I don't know. You gotta pick what you want to die for, and it's like
pick your battles.
I don't know. It's
You're
like,
smarter than me. I was at the Black Lives Matter march. Like, this march is fucking trash. Like, we ain't even talking about art police here. And I'm on video on that shit. Like, having an interview. So
I was there.
I was a
couple man deep.
Yeah,
I swung by, but the one thing that kind of made me laugh is obviously there's a lot of Japanese rappers out there, and a lot of them are very good at rapping. And then I was looking through all the pictures and looking at the posts, seeing if any of the like Tokyo MCs were like talking about it. A couple people had, like left a little like Black Lives Matter post or whatever on their Instagram or whatever. But like front and center on like Japan Times, their photo of the march, and they don't seem to be aware of the fact they've done that. A-Witch is literally just standing right in front of the camera.
Bro, you're actually skipping ahead a bit, because like me and Crafty might actually speak on this. Like,
bro, even the last time I was here, I spoke on it.
Oh my!
I wonder if that's why you didn't upload that one. I was going off on her.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, really?
Well, I don't want to be part of that. No offense. She got clout. It's like I got a business to run, I mean, I feel bad.
I was with Sarasa.
I might rescind those comments, actually. I think I'm ready to forgive.
Well, I was actually with Sarasa and A-Witch for that, for some of the march. But, my man Brooklyn Terry, who runs Japan for Black Lives and is also just a legendary person in the community, he publicly called out A-Witch about her usage of the N-word in her music and some things like that. And she's rescinded and kind of come to a different understanding of it. And I don't know her well enough to say anything about her personally, but I did appreciate that she was publicly saying that she was in the wrong for that. I don't know about her business dealings, but she went from being like a Talib Kweli conscious type of rapper to like a drill. Yeah, her old
I must have missed that. I must have missed that. I only heard on that trap shit. Like,
I only heard
it sound.
No, because actually, like almost 10 years ago now, I used to do a Japanese music podcast based back in London called Japan Alternative Sessions. And I tried to focus on, kind of more underground and independent Japanese music. And at one point, I went to this Okinawan music event I think at like University of East London or something. And this guy, Uechi Kazuya, who runs a live house in Naha, I think, gave me like an SD card full of Okinawan music. And there's like a bunch of like early A-Witch on there, like back when she was like Asia Wish Child.
Yeah, that's what it stood for.
But there was like all kinds of like local, Okinawan bands and stuff. And I was playing some of that stuff on the show. And A-Witch was the one person who actually reached out to me.
Wow, really?
And like showed love. And it's weird now because obviously she's a massive star in Japan now. But yeah, back then she just like sent me like a nice message on Twitter saying, "Yo, thank you for like showing love on the show." And then, probably 8-9 years later, she's a massive star out here.
Literally I have to say, like, in the circles that I'm in, like, that's one of the only positive things I've heard. And that's not a diss on her. It's like, that's like, I know people who know her post what you're talking about. And so, people don't really understand where you come from and stuff. It's like the same reason why I wear a mask. It's like, what I did in the past and what I do now, that's different. And I want them to be separated because I've grown. So it's like, it's difficult, but Japan does have that issue. There was an Anarchy song that came out a while ago where he said the N-word in it and it was not appropriate the way he said it too. And I was like, you know what I'm talking about, right, Gabriel? So it's like,
I spoke about all of that last time.
And it's disappointing because it's disappointing because like they know so much
them too.
And they know so much about like hip hop in so many ways, and then they're so ignorant about it in other ways, and you're just like, man, that's so sad. Like
it's one of the sad things that happens is like hip hop culture has been decontextualized from black struggle in a way, even though a lot of the lyrics it's
been like that for like 40 years though. Like
and a lot of the MC especially when it's from a person who doesn't have like black friends or come from a black community, it's something to be like in California now. the white kids, the Mexicans, everybody says nigga, and apparently it's not a big issue for a lot of people. But for me, I grew up and it's just like, nah. And I know you're from South Africa. It's like, nah, like you can't just really do those type of things. But, you know, another big MC who's kind of in the spotlight for using it was Kojo. And Kojo is huge. Right. And shout out to Kojo. I call him a homie. He's been on the podcast, been here in the house. And I asked him about it. You know, I was like, what makes you feel like it's appropriate for you to do that? And not in these exact words, but like, why? And he was just like, bro, I don't know. I grew up and I kind of became myself in New York. And the people that I was around said it. And I said it around them. It was like, they understand that I'm not using it. I'm only using it as a term of endearment or in the context of like hip hop. And he told me, like, I won't say it in a group of black people that I don't know, obviously, but your music is also, he's one of the biggest artists. He's one of the biggest hip hop artists out here.
So I had this conversation, you know, to take Japan out of it, actually. Like, I had this conversation with a Hispanic rapper, and we probably all know which Hispanic rapper, but I don't want to mention him just in case he doesn't associate with us. Like, but
he hasn't been on the podcast.
No, but he's probably the best rapper I've ever worked with. It's like straight up, like on a technical level. At the same time, he was saying the N-word a lot. And where he's from, that was acceptable to him. And that was acceptable for the people around him. And I understand that. But as I said to him, I was like, one of the issues is you don't get to give context to your music.
Right.
You don't get to give that context. You can put your music out and people can listen to it and, you know, but you don't get to say, okay, yeah, but I'm from XYZ and this is how, you know, and someone gave me a pass on
this.
It's
not like
blah,
a
blah, blah.
fucking trigger warning on it, like disclaimer.
It's really difficult. And it's really difficult because all you can hear is the music, and it might be fine in every other situation, and it might not even like be inappropriate, and maybe I'm just tripping, but at the same time, as I said to him, it's like you don't get to give context.
On top of that, like your name is attached to it. You know what I mean? Like
sure, but I'm just a producer. I'm a background character, so it's like, but I still feel like, you know, you don't get to sit down and listen. Not everyone who listens to your music, you don't get to play it and be like, okay, but before I play it, right, let me tell you some background about this.
Right.
Okay. You know, it's like
I feel that
you don't get
only get one shot.
I feel that.
Yeah, you don't get to do that. You know, so I was like, you know, it depends how do you want it to be seen.
But, you know, even though you're kind of like partially removed from the art, if I heard it and it was produced by Ghostpops, I'd probably talk to you and be like, yo, bro, who is this
That's
dude?
fine. That's
you know,
acceptable.
And, you know, and I think that it speaks to your character and the type of person that you are for you to put kind of stops on that, breaks on that. Because I got homies that are like not even Afro Latino from New York who grew up saying it's like a Fat Joe type of thing. It's like they all said it. It's fine. Right. When I eventually do get him on the podcast because he's dope and he's been in the industry for a long time and amazing, I'm gonna have to be like, bro, I know you say that. Don't say it here. Like this is not something that I want.
Joe?
No, not Fat Joe. No, the homie. The homie.
Oh, right.
No, I actually, me and Fat Joe aren't that tight. At all.
Me and Fat Joe were best friends, bro. Me and Fat Joe, we best friends. We go way back. Like
we fell out after I started dieting. He was just like, I can't be a part of this anymore. You gotta have standards and shit. But yeah, Fat Mega was a thing for a while. Yeah, I'm coming up off of it. But I appreciate.
Bro,
those
you look hench at the moment. Like you lost a lot of weight. You look good, bro. Serious.
Yeah. I don't know what that feedback is.
Is that kid? Do kids still say that?
Hench? I don't know about hench, but I'm getting feedback. But I don't think it'll record. Can we fight through it, or you guys want to pause?
Hold up.
Let's pause. It's very annoying.
Okay, man. What was the last thing we were talking about?
That's the timestamp point.
Okay.
The men's clinic.
Yeah. Let's just keep it moving then.
They know you there now.
But yeah, living in Japan is right. Yeah, I got VD.
Yeah.
No,
just that. Yeah. That's pretty good. You could move past that.
You know, shout out to me for all the goon maneuvers that I've pulled in my entire life. I've never gotten STD, and I've never really wrapped it up. So
and you don't have any kids that you don't know about, right? That's the most important thing.
I don't think so. I feel like I would have been contacted.
Probably got
I feel like that's
your radar.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, because I'm cool with most of the, like, I never left a goon maneuver with, like, it was bad.
Bridges,
you know what I mean? Like, a lot of them, they still keep coming back. So, I mean, like I said, shout out to me.
Yeah, I'm in that. I'm in that point. I'm good with it.
Word. But owning a studio, dealing with these type of artists, being in Japan, and these type of things, it's a different ground to navigate for artists. And I'm a kind of, you know, especially for you, Kraftykid, Your music, I know, like you're a writer. You write music. Yeah. You don't just say words. You mean things that you say.
Yeah.
How do you feel that your music is kind of apprehended and taken in by Japanese listeners, considering that many of them are going to have that language barrier? Do you feel a way about like people reciting your lyrics or your lines and they don't understand the context of them? Is that a problem with the type of content you make?
No, because for one, like I sprinkle in Japanese like here and there, but I don't want like a whole verse in Japanese. I think
literally the first bar of the album is Japanese.
Yeah, but that's like, going forward, because we got all Japanese features on it pretty much.
Sure. I mean, we just got our friends and we live here.
Exactly.
That's it. Like we didn't pick features based off like who we thought would get us plays. We picked features of people that we liked. Yeah. And now we're our friends.
Of course. And then another thing is like I don't really use the N-word anyway in my music, and that's not really like a all right, I'm not gonna use it kind of thing. It's just like,
I feel like we as people from the UK have a complex relationship to that word anyway.
Yeah. And we've spoken about that before.
I heard P Money use it and actually fucked me up. Like I actually he used it.
Yeah.
And I thought it sounded so weird.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Well, there's also no hard R sound in British English, so you can't distinguish between a soft A and a hard R.
But it's like, I just
still sounded strange to me.
Yeah.
I'll agree with you.
I feel like my vocabulary is, is like, it goes deep anyway. So I'm always trying to like create stories and like trying to, because I have like hundreds of songs, but it's like, how can you tell these stories in different ways? Like storytelling or putting yourself in the position of, I don't know, like a fictional character or whatever. So I got non-fiction, I got fiction. It's like, I'm always twisting it up. But I've never kind of consciously thought, okay, I have to do this Japanese song, like whole song in Japanese.
Yeah, right.
It has to come from the heart, So.
Word. You're also, are you interviewing for Neat Tokyo now?
Yes. Okay. So I just got that job in like January. So we interviewed.
Tell us what
Junior
that is
Choi.
first for the listeners.
Neat Tokyo. That's like it's a platform. They got the green screen in the background, and they interview like up and comers and like celebrities and like music and art and what else do they do? Like
porn.
They got some porn stars on there too. Yeah, like
that's like the main thing they
exactly,
talk about.
which is one thing I wanted to avoid. So like when they asked me, can you ask them this? I'm like, nah. Like I'm not trying to blow up his spot.
I don't think anyone from Neat is gonna listen to this, but my tattoo boss, he got asked to be on it. And he actually, I don't want to mention his name, but he rejected it based off the fact that he was like, I ain't going on there and speaking about drugs. The fuck out of here.
Word.
And I was like, all right, that's not all they talk about, but I could see how your perception is of that, like their top videos and their clips
like
of
cannabis, this,
which is
not even that. Like not even that. My boss
like
is fine.
Stuff,
It's like hard drugs. Like it's like I'm talking like white people drugs. Like it's like for real like drugs.
But I purposely avoided those questions because I wouldn't want someone to ask me that.
That's
so I'm like, I'm not gonna ask you that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I wrote the
questions. Wants to talk
myself,
about that shit online.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I respect you for that.
Shout out to them. I follow them, but most of the interviews are in Japanese, so I don't tune into all of them.
Yeah, so I'm doing the English ones, and that's usually when like musicians or whatever will come into the country, which is kind of far and few. So it's an occasional thing, but
okay. Ah, that's a dope get though. That's good. I remember when I saw you on there 2 years ago, a year ago, something like that?
And Ghostpops got me on that one, so
because you didn't want to do
like
it,
a snowball effect.
I didn't want to do it.
He's like, I know a guy.
I ain't putting my own plus, bro. I rejected it twice, and then the reason why was, I don't feel like I should be that that honest about myself like that, but not because like I'm hiding something, but because like I don't think I'm that important to the process, and that's actually one of the reasons I wear a mask. Is because I don't want to be personally involved in it like that. Like I'm a background character. I'm personally involved in the artists I work with. I mean, they can tell you that. It's like I'm very personally involved, but outside of that, I don't want to be. I'm not P Diddy. I'm not trying to be part of the
all up
everything.
in the videos.
All up in the videos. Yeah.
Come to Death Row.
Yeah, bro.
Come to Mega Late Show.
Come to Mega Late Show, bro.
Yeah.
Although
That's dope studio.
That's my thing about the like DJ Vlad. That's like I feel that's too much.
See, but it's shit like that I hate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It preys off the very negative part of the culture.
It's like trauma porn almost.
A little bit. It
I mean,
preys off the negative parts of the culture, and I don't want to
do that.
I mean, DJ Academics does the same thing. It's all algorithm gossip, and it's not about the music or the art, or really about the culture. You know, a lot of people listen.
Clout.
They think that hip hop culture, first and foremost, it must be like grounded in some type of street culture or some shit, and it's just
Academics
has
like kind of grown out of that a little, but yeah, definitely when he was coming up, he was doing that.
I honestly haven't heard from him in like a decade.
I've never thought I need to listen to him.
No, I agree with you, bro. I'm with
neat.
Everyone on this side of the table.
I have always appreciated that Neat Tokyo actually does kind of talk to anyone though. Like I've been following them for some time, and you know they had some like people I found dope on there. Had like Chezzy Malbo and people like that on there who I've been a fan of for a while. But then I was looking and they had reviewed like a rapper I won't name who we all know, and the top comment on his interview was just Dare. Like who?
Yeah, I know he was talking about.
They really do seem to go.
Unfortunately, they've changed their format. I did like that old format because that's how I got on. You know, I wouldn't have got on this new system where they're. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, he can't speak on his employer, bro. Come on, bro.
I mean, I know that the people that make that are unlikely to watch this. You know,
they're not.
Yeah, most of our listeners are overseas. Yes. I'd say back when at the height of it, which we get like maybe 2,000.
Shout out to Neat Tokyo.
5,000 listens a month.
And shout about now.
No, I mean I don't watch it because I don't know a lot of the artists and I don't care about a lot of the artists, especially when I see some of these guys in like blackface, so to speak, where it's just like
what?
Wow, not literal blackface. No. I'm talking about they have all of the trappings of blackness, and I'm just like, wow, how street are you here, buddy? Like, yeah.
We're getting like ahead of ourselves, like in terms of like the way I was gonna go with it. But to be honest, that's one of the major turnoffs of the whole industry here. I feel I said it to someone else, and I don't necessarily stand by this comment anymore. But I was like, you gotta leave your integrity at the door a little bit, just a little bit. You gotta accept certain things that like I couldn't accept when I first moved here. I'm
starting to accept those things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. But before it was hard to like see like a Japanese kid with a do-rag, for example. Like I'm just pulling it out of nowhere. I'm not talking about anyone particular, but I'm saying like that was quite difficult for me because it's like where I'm from, like I don't wear
it's not a fashion piece.
No,
you know what I mean? It's a utility.
Yeah. No,
so,
it's
I mean, it can be part of fashion, but that's like the beauty of the blackness of it. Like not.
I don't even wear a do-rag. Like
I mean,
it's difficult.
I've only ever rocked them when I had braids because my hair is not. I don't get waves. You know what I mean?
That's it.
My shit is just. I'm feeling Negro. I don't know what else to call it.
So it's difficult.
And that's one of the reasons that I don't reach out to a lot of the artists that I see on there. Like I've met Wes Atlas, who I know from there. He came from. I saw him. I said, "Oh, this is a cool kid. I like the music he's making." I bought him in, and some of the other people who are with Soul Gossa. But I see a lot of cats on there. I'm like, oh, I know he could speak English, but I'm just like, like the Mega Late Show for me is not to finesse the algorithm or get on famous people. Like we've even tried to turn down. Like there was a point way before COVID, especially when Tekashi 6ix9ine was blowing up, and we had the plug. They're like, yeah, you can get Tekashi 6ix9ine on the show, most likely. And I was just like, nah. Like it wasn't necessarily a thing about who he is as a person because he hadn't even been caught snitching yet at that point. But I was just like, he doesn't seem like a person that I'd ever want to interact with. But because
I feel like
my spider sense is tingling.
I feel like I agree with you, but it's like I would want to interact with him just because like I want to know who the person is because I don't know him personally. I only know the superficial outside thing and through his music. And not everybody is that personal with their music. Like Gabriel might be very personal with his music, but not everybody is like that. Some people put on a costume and then they do their music and then they bounce out of that costume.
I just assumed that he wasn't going to take the costume off for us, you know?
Exactly.
Like,
Sure.
I think they're also wanting a
right.
list of questions beforehand. I'm just like, I don't even care to go through
especially
it,
to someone he doesn't know. It's like
That's
just a job to him, right?
Mega and 6ix9ine in a room together is just about the funniest
I
image I can imagine.
You two are gonna fight.
Like
you two are gonna end up
I
scratching.
wish I was there. Honestly, I would have come.
like 36
Yeah, I would have come.
I'll whoop his little ass.
I would have been there.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, I do want to see that now.
it's only.
I really do.
I'll fucking ankle pick him so quick it'd be fucking hilarious. I don't even want to project toughness anymore because I turned 40 this year and my fucking neck hurts from sleeping. But like, you know what I mean? Like I'm having
18.
a bad day. Like, oh my god, like fuck. I thought I had a frozen shoulder the other week, but I just slept wrong. But you know what I mean? I was like, damn, I can't lift my shoulder. I was like, oh my god, it's all over for me.
I'm not at that point yet, but I'm getting there.
Bro,
I'm getting close to it. Yeah,
like, you know, the thing
Gamers get there early.
The thing that I was kind of getting at is that it must be a difficult thing to navigate, especially in Tokyo, which is one of the largest cities in the world. But somehow the music industry and the connections you can make are pretty close. Like you can get in the same room as.
Let me just say this.
The biggest artist.
True.
Let me just say this. Like, if I feel I got very lucky. Like, if UK drill didn't pop off and it didn't become like super mainstream, I think I would have had to do a lot more explaining to get myself into these rooms. Because if I'm just doing grime and trap or whatever, like it's like, okay, cool. So does the next person. But I'm like one of the only like UK guys out here doing drill
that
and
is
stuff
true.
like that. So
it works to
it
works to your advantage and it works to your disadvantage as well.
Well, of course,
it's definitely true. Of course, it's definitely like true. But what you just said, I agree with you.
But also a very dope thing about the music scene out here in Japan, and I'm speaking specifically on Japanese art and Japanese independent art, is like I've met most of my favorite bands just by like saying hello at the show.
Of course, yeah.
You can't do that in London.
No, not at all.
You know, I couldn't just go up to Black Media after a show and be like, "Hey guys, like I like your music."
The London scene.
Don't worry, I'm fine here.
London scene was very cold. Like is.
But I think artists feel quite isolated out here. Like there's a comedian who's coming in April. Who's actually he's a comedian, but he did a lot of like. He comes from the punk community, and I know of him really well, and I would say he's in my like list of like my top 5 or top 3 like heroes. He's in there. His name is Greg Turkington, and like he's coming in April, and I was like, I don't know how that's gonna go down, but at the same time, like I'm friends with his wife on Instagram, and we talked a lot, and she was like, yo, let's hang out after the show or whatever, and it's like I don't think I could have gotten that in any other country.
Exactly.
There's no way. There's zero chance. So I think it's also like, well, I'm gonna go out there and I don't know anybody, and maybe they can't even speak to me in my language, and it's like, oh, I know you. And you're out there, and so when you go and say like, yo, what's up, it's like they're like, oh wow, thank God, like someone else that like I can vibe with, or like I just understand on a certain level. And I think that's like really important, and for all of us, like it's important to like play that to your strength.
Even a few months ago, me and Mega were like street drinking on the corner in Ikebukuro, and like the pianist from this band Waxay Abnormal that I'm a fan of like walked past, and I just like stopped her. I was like, hey, what's up? And she was like, what the fuck? Like, you know who I am?
Right.
Like, I don't know if it's a lack of appreciation for what these people do, that generally people don't recognize them or whatever. But I mean, I've met basically all of my favorite Japanese musicians at least once.
I would say it's a combination of stuff, because I would say like maybe a lot of people recognize that, but they would be like intimidated to actually go and speak to that person, or like maybe you're not even intimidated, but just feel like, well, I don't know that person, so thereby I don't have a right to talk to them. Because I used to go to like pro wrestling a lot back in the day, and I love Japanese pro wrestling. And like when I was tattooing, I tattooed a lot of like pro wrestlers, right? So like I've been in the scene for a while, and a lot of those dudes, they just don't talk to other people, like, and so when they see you, they recognize you and they know you. And they're like, yo, this dude said to my wife one time, and he was like, it's a Mexican wrestler in Noah. His name's Ricky Marvin. And he was like, my wife went to the bathroom and she was coming back. And he's like, yo, I know your husband, or I know your friend. And she was like, oh, my husband. And he's like, yeah, I know him. I see him all the time. Yo, bring him over here. Let's chat. You know, it's like, and that would never happen if I was just a Japanese dude. And it's just because like, they're like, oh, it's someone
I see you.
who I might be able to, I see you. Yeah. I might be able to like speak to you. Like,
I love
it.
Yeah.
And that's great. That's great. That's a great thing about living here.
I've thought like for the first interview that we had, like I had an interview with Maceo of De La Soul, and it was just like, bro, like in the States, you don't get to the backstage.
No.
Like even less, you don't get to just drink with them. You know what I mean? For hours. And I've had so many interactions that it almost started to make me feel like a little bit of like imposter syndrome, because most of my
I felt like that too. I felt like that before.
I understand.
Most of my rap heroes are cats that are like it's a small venue. You know what I mean? They're spitting in your faces, they're rapping because these independent hip hop shows, and maybe I open for them or you know some shit like that. But my heroes like De La and fucking you know Ali Shaheed Muhammad, I fucking would have never. And Ali Shaheed Muhammad, I think he gave us an interview just because he knew we were black folks and that we were a hip hop outlet. But to me, that speaks to like being a part of the culture and actually being a head in the culture and not just like a talking head on some channel, you know?
I mean, I agree with that. I think also like a lot of those people have a good like kind of radar as to like, oh, this dude's weird, I don't want to talk to that guy.
Word.
And then there's like a lot of normal people. I mean, like all of us are friends, so I'm gonna assume that all of us are like normal people. But it's like, and when we approach someone, they're not like, oh fuck, who the fuck is this? Like I want to talk to them.
I ran into Lil Nas X at the airport when I was going back for Christmas, and I was surprised. Like he had people with him, but nobody was really going up to him and shit. And I wasn't going to, because it's like, number one, I don't listen to your music. I'm not a fan. What am I just trying to get a picture? Instead, I was just like, oh, he eats cheeseburgers, you know, at the same McDonald's as me. It's interesting.
We're real people.
Yeah, I saw Bono at the hotel I was staying at. Yeah, I stayed at this hotel in Beverly Hills.
I would.
Yeah, and I saw Lana Del Rey. Yeah, but I saw Bono, and that's like the most famous person I've ever walked past, like in my life. Like,
word.
We're talking about like a dude.
People cry to his music.
Yeah,
at his shows
he's been big for like, you know, like 40 years. Like, and it's like I saw him, and my wife and I looked at him, and I was like, yo, is that dude? But I don't want to go and talk to him. I don't have anything to say. Like I really don't have anything to say to him. But it's like, yo, that's cool. That like you're just walking around, and it's like, but I didn't approach him. You know, like that. It's just not my nature. So yeah.
Word.
Yeah, I have to agree. I'm not really that type.
I get hyped when I see the porn stars, especially in this neighborhood. Like, oh my god.
Do you really see them?
Oh,
like
all
out
the
here?
time, all the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, because I'm a Japanese adult video connoisseur,
okay,
so
shit.
I'm quite familiar. I'm quite familiar with the scene. I recognize.
I see them
like
coming
Jet
out.
recognizes.
I see them coming out the hotels. They do their little bow. The cameraman. I'm like, bro, she just got piped.
Yeah. It's strange
I don't have
seeing
any comment about that.
All right, in our neighborhood, so the 3 blocks behind my house before the station, it's all love hotels and shit. And so they have dispatch sex workers who you go to the website, you put in the time, and you pay with your credit card. They come, they meet you, they get picked up, and they go. And a lot of times, if you just post up at the Family Mart over here on the side, you'll see all types of like top level sex workers.
People watching
bro.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
See the nervous guys like.
Yeah. And you see like the ones where the girls are really trying to get away from them quick, but they're still trying to get like an extra $1 out of their interaction by talking. And the ones that are really strange is the ones that like they buy them a bunch of shit. So they'll go to like the Tobu or the Parco and they'll get them like Gucci bags and shit. And
sugar daddies.
And I've seen from my balcony right here, girls walking around that clearly had sexual devices inside of them with a guy walking behind them. That's like their fetish.
Right.
Really wild. And they're like walking and like holding it, and it's kind of just creepy. But I'm like, hey, I live here. I love Japan. Shout out. You know what I mean?
My kids live around here, but that's cool. Yeah.
It's like I was just walking with my 7-year-old daughter. Like, she has no idea what's going on. But yeah, it gets pretty.
I didn't need that, man.
It gets pretty wild. It gets fucking wild.
At the same time, it's something nice to be in a society that like doesn't really have those like barriers. Like I'm actually cool with it. It doesn't affect, like for example, it doesn't affect you or your children directly. So it's like Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of nice.
It's
Like,
mad
people should live how they
safer
live.
than
It's all
Well,
good.
with the sex work being decriminalized out here to a large degree, it means that there's not a lot of sexual assaults and a lot of things. Of course, they still happen, but I mean,
I don't know if there's not a lot of sexual
Well,
assaults.
I mean,
That's crazy,
trains
yeah.
be
Like,
going crazy.
these dispatch sex workers are not being fucking beated and not paid. You know what I mean? Like, they're not on the street and fucking trying to solicit sex. They're working with the company. There's protection for them.
Unless
you
you're
know what
in
I mean?
Roppongi.
There's that degree. Oh yeah. I mean, we've got streetwalkers here, and most of them are Chinese, though. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
but
Kraftykid is a
move
bit
past
different
it,
from
yeah.
that. Yeah, but oh yeah.
Oh
yeah,
no, we
let's
don't
move
have
past
to.
it.
I love to go on the Goo maneuvers. I just want to make sure we highlight your art and not my interest in hoes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Scaring the hoes, Volume 2.
Okay, I'll fuck with it. Yeah, that's cool.
Now, and you working in Kabukicho, that's kind of like your genesis where you were in Japan. Were you tattooing out there too? Is that where your tattoo shop was?
No, I tattooed in Harajuku first.
Okay. Yeah,
and
okay.
then that was the first job I got. That's how I moved out here. It was like I got a tattoo with this guy, and he was like, "Yo, what do you do?" While he was tattooing me, and I was like, "This." And he's like, "All right, come in tomorrow."
Oh, he got you a visa off of that?
All right. No. He was the one who put the thing in my head that like you should move here. And I never considered moving out here because it was just a vacation to me. And it was a vacation based off like a calendar my wife bought. She bought this calendar and she put it up. And then it was like one day I was just looking at the calendar and it was like, yo, Japan looks cool. And she was like, you never been to Japan. I went to Japan when I was a kid. You should go. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'll go. And then, that was it. So everything kind of like fell. It's like a sliding doors kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like you don't plan any of it.
You still got your
with my
tattoo
wife.
guns and shit?
No, my tattoo machines I gave to my boss.
Okay.
I gave them to him as like a present.
I was
Like,
going to say
basically,
tattoo Jet's face over my face so I can get some more of these hoes. They love Jet.
Unless we can
I'm just
tattoo
kidding,
Jet's
yeah.
body
I'm
also
happy-
on your
Anyone's
body,
doing
that's
that.
gonna be
Nah, just
difficult.
The sport tattoo.
Nah, you can get a knee job these days. You know what I mean? It's
That's true. Yeah.
long
yeah.
ass knees. Now, how did you get out here, Crafty?
I came out here on my study abroad. I did a study abroad, and I was in Beppu.
Is that with Jet? Just that?
No, this was before Jet. This
Right,
was
okay.
the Jet program. By
Jet
then.
program,
Yeah,
not me.
Not you.
But also you're
Japan
to blame
exchange and
somehow.
teaching.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I was studying at Ritsumeikan APU in Beppu, home of onsen. It was beautiful. And then I went back to London, finished my degree, and then I went to Sendai for 2 years, and that was on the Jet program, which was comfy as fuck, but it's in the sticks. So I was like, yeah, I need to get out of here. And then I came to Tokyo 2019, and I met this guy, Ghostpops over here, and then we just kept bubbling the music again. So yeah,
I must have met you right after you got out here then.
literally,
Okay, yeah.
very, very. soon
I met
after.
you over here when you first
Exactly.
met all the
Yeah,
Hillcats,
exactly.
right there at the Golden Ring, the Global Ring.
Yeah.
Ah.
2019.
Do you want
or
to talk
something.
about how you retired and I pulled you out of retirement? Can you talk about that, please?
I think I talked about that every time I came on here.
Oh, okay. My bad. I didn't keep up with it.
Yeah. But I say retired in like I've always been making music. I was just like, I don't even feel like putting anything out, kind of thing.
You were like drawing and shit more than making music for a
yeah,
while.
yeah. That was always like my goal. And then the music started to kind of gain traction. But yeah, I've I came to Tokyo, and then Ghostpops beats are like enticing. I was like, okay, I have to. Yeah. So
Yeah, Ghostpops is super talented. You come from like a music, like not a hip hop background, either, right?
multi-instrumentalist.
You're a punk,
Yeah.
but you went to school for like music theory and shit. Yeah.
So yeah, I started playing instruments like when I was about 13. I picked up the bass, and then I didn't take it that seriously till about high school. And then high school, one of my friends was like, "Yo, I'm gonna buy a guitar." It was like my best friend in high school. We was playing a football team together and all that. And he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna buy a guitar," and I'm like, "Cool. Well, if you gonna buy a guitar, I'll buy a guitar." Like he bought a Sega Dreamcast. I was like, "I'll buy a Sega Dreamcast." It was like, whatever. I got nothing better to do. And then so that's how it started. And then from the time I was
Whatever you do, I'll match it.
Yeah, from the time I just wanted to be where he was, and he
Yeah.
wanted to be where I was. It's like we're friends, and it's a
how it
blank
happens,
slate.
man.
It's a blank
Yeah,
slate.
that's how
When
it
you're
happens.
15, you can do whatever you want, right? You can be whoever you want, and it's like, and then so when I was 16, I started playing in hardcore bands, and I played in like psychobilly band, and I played in like death metal bands and stuff like that. And I was just like really enticed by like the musicianship. Blah. So it's like the technicality of the music got me involved. So then I was like, I left the kind of punk thing.
Okay.
And then I went to university and I did a double degree. I did anthropology and I did music, and I specialized in jazz. So I played jazz bass. I played double bass in university and guitar.
Super talented, bro.
No, it's just time. You gotta put time in. It's like I say this to everybody. I said this to Jovan the other day. I was like, you just gotta put the hours in. Once you have the hours in, it's like you can do it. Everyone can do it.
Yeah.
And the earlier you start, the better it is, of course. Like
there's also an intangible though, like the dopeness. Because if it was just time, then algorithm like AI would be able to make something that's really amazing. But you put a different sprinkle on it. If I could, bro, this is such a crazy connection, and show you how small Tokyo is. When I first got out here, I wasn't gaming, so I was like, let me buy a PS4. It's coming out, you know what I mean? Let me go ahead and play games. And I was like, I want to play online with somebody. I never did that. So I found like the Gaijin Gamers group.
It's called Tokyo Gaijin.
Yeah, Gaijin Gamers, I think it was called.
Yeah, that's it.
But I think the website's gone. But
They're on Discord now, yeah.
Okay, I met a bunch of cats on there, right? So first I'm playing with this dude who calls himself Crust Punker. And I was like, all right, word. All right, fucking
Shout
you're a
out,
punk.
Adrian.
Shout out to you. And, you know, we became friends offline, like Instagram, and he's a phenomenal photographer and just an all-around cool dude. But then, like last year, my homies who's making a game, my homie from Mexico, this is how diverse, like real Mexico, not like fucking California, but like real Mexico, right? Like super Mexican cat. He's like, yo, I'm making a game, and he's like, check it out. He showed a video of it, and I was like, yo, the game looks dope. It's like a 2D platform. I'm like, it looks dope, but the fucking music is incredible. Did you make that shit? He's like, nah, this guy named Ghostpops. And I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, yeah, of course it was Ghostpops.
You never told me that story.
Bro, yeah. It happened last year, and I was just like, yo, this music is so fucking live. Like, who makes this shit?
I'm making music for his next game now at the moment. So it's like
he's doing really well too.
Arturo is like mad talented. He's a great guy, and I know
him
really
as Inu Boss.
Yeah,
I know him as Inu Boss.
I knew he's on that as like online and stuff. But Arturo is a great dude. He actually came to me at Gabriel's last show. Not last show, the show before that, the one at Moon Romantic.
Right? Oh, I was there with him. Yeah,
he actually showed up,
with him,
which I was like, bro, what the hell? Because like he's like mad cynical, and he's like definitely not into hip hop.
Yeah,
he's into like Mexican folk music.
Yeah,
but he was like, yo, I'm
like
gonna come.
Shit, yeah.
I'm gonna come. And he's like, all right, cool. And he showed up. And
he pulled me real quick.
Night.
He's like, oh my god.
Yeah. He stayed the whole night. Yeah, it was great. It was dope.
He's dope.
Yeah, Arturo's
he's a good friend.
Arturo's
great.
great.
Shout out to
And shout out Adrian, by the way, Cross Punker. Adrian's so dope, and he's gonna be in Tokyo soon as well. So we all gotta link up. And his son is a crazy artist. Like his son is like the most ridiculous artist I've ever seen. Like,
no shit.
Like he's like close, and he's like not even 18 yet or something. He's stupid good. Like
I've always got along with punks. I think it's because of that ideological background. Most of them are anarchists. Most of them are, you know, have strong beliefs that are parallel to mine. So
I think honestly, like, you know, if you were 16 and we were hanging out, I could have gotten you into like hardcore music real easy. Yeah. It's like, and that's what attracted me to it. Was like, you know, I come from South Africa, and it's like I grew up during apartheid, and it's like, and it was fucked up, and my dad was real political, and you know, it's like it's all quite complicated. But then the thing that attracted me to punk music was that ideology and the fact that it's like, yo, you know what, fuck everything. Yeah. And I was like, that's how I felt at that exact moment. That perfectly encapsulates me. But then it was like everyone was welcome. It's like I used to go to shows and there'd be like Nazi dudes, like proper Nazi dudes in the corner, and they'd dap me up when I see them, and they ain't fucking with no one. And it's like I'm not their friend, but it's like. Everyone was all right. It was just it is what it was.
For us, like in California, it was a bit different, and also this is like the early 2000s, and which is when I really started getting into different genres of music, especially the punk scene. Because I always felt like my sisters growing up, you know, I got black sisters. They're like, yo, this is fucking like devil music, like metal and shit, you know what I mean? It has a heavy connotation towards that for a lot of black Americans. And so like I never went to the shows, but I mean I grew up listening to like Pearl Jam and Metallica, but it was more like I know this music, it's good, but I didn't actively pursue those communities. The fucking all the punks that I knew, if you're a fucking if you're a Nazi, they'll beat the shit out of you. Like soon as you show
for the most part,
as soon as you show the shit,
out,
I forget what it was called, but I had a cat and his older brother was like a skinheads against racial prejudice or something, sharps or something.
Okay,
skinheads
I know.
against
I
racial
actually know
prejudice.
exactly what you're talking about.
Is it called a sharp? Skinheads against racial prejudice. And so, like, bro, like these fools, they look like the most unapproachable type of cats. Like, not dirty, but like, bro, they got fucking spikes all over their shit. You know what I mean? They'll beat your ass if you're racist.
So originally, actually, skinheads were not Nazis.
This is Jamaican culture.
Yes, that's it. It comes actually from
Jamaican rude boys.
Yeah. So what happened was, with the bomber jacket and if you ever
socks.
watched, I think everybody should watch This Is England and the subsequent TV series. But the movie really like is a great like highlight of that time. And basically, there were a lot of skinheads in the game, and they were rude boys. And it was mostly like Jamaican thing.
It's a ska movement, yeah.
That was it. It was the ska movement. It was like, they had a shaved head and bomber jacket and that. So the Nazi stuff came from those dudes who got sent to jail, and they got indoctrinated in jail.
Yep.
And then they came out and they had that attitude, and that's what This Is England is actually about. It's about a skinhead dude who was cool before, and then he went to jail, and when he came out, he was indoctrinated because it wasn't just the culture of it, but it was also like how he had to survive in jail. Was like to fall in with those people because he was white. So it changed. So when you say skinhead now, a lot of people like, that means a racist, like Nazi.
White powers, white supremacy.
And it was absolutely not that. Initially, it was Jamaican, which is like couldn't be less like Nazi-ish, like if you wanted to. So it's like. So yeah, it hurts my heart when I hear people say like, "Oh, he's like a skinhead," in the context of like, "Oh, he's a Nazi." It's like skinheads are supposed to be against that.
There's still a pretty strong movement of like radical leftist skinheads in the north of England, like up in
100%.
Manchester and stuff. Like
even in London too.
Yeah, in London as well. But
definitely.
like when I know, when I was in university, I was more involved in activism and organizing stuff like that. And the skinheads were always there, and they were functionally running protection.
Yes.
Because all of those guys knew how to fight.
That's it, yeah.
And I went to Salford Uni, like in Manchester.
Wow, you went to Salford Uni?
I went to Salford,
My wife's whole family's from Salford.
Yeah.
All right, go for it.
And you'd be out there in Piccadilly, Deansgate or whatever, like marching through, and it'd be like counter demonstrations against, EDL, BNP types or whatever.
Yeah.
And there would always be skinheads at the front and at the back. You always see the skinheads, like, and when people were kind of standing by or were getting kettled or whatever, they'd be playing ska music and skanking to it. They wouldn't be doing, and those guys, they'd be skanking,
Yeah.
And that was always that, that really woke me up to like the kind of reality of that movement.
The dude, my homie that I used to like, my graph writer homie, shout out to Decaf Rotzko. He was like, yo, my older brother's renovating his house to sell it. Do you want to work on it? Because I was in between jobs. And he's like, yeah. He was like, just to let you know, my brother is a skinhead. And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what? Because my homie Rotzko is white. But he's like, nah, he's and it makes so much sense because all that fool would play was fucking ska. Yeah. I didn't even put it together like that. I didn't know that they came from. But you see how quickly things become decontextualized from the cultures they come from. That's why I have a problem with a lot of these like gangsters in rap music. And gangsters, especially out here, but not to go back to that point.
But it happens all the time. It's like it's the same thing. Like, if you take a band like the Specials, right? Just going off of what you were saying.
R.I.P. Terry Hall.
Yeah, I was about to say rest in peace, Terry Hall. He was like a really big influence on me, and he had a tough life. So I'm glad he's at peace. But the Specials were actively against that. They would play shows in London, and the band is half white and half black. Like a lot of the members are Jamaican. And then it's like they would play shows, and at that time London was starting to get really split up the middle, and then they would play these shows, and it's like half the crowd's Jamaican, half the crowd's white, and some of them were like like British Defense League and all that kind of like Nazi stuff, and they would all stay away from each other, and they would like tolerate each other just to watch this band that they love. And then that was like kind of the whole like message of it was like, you don't have to pick a side. You can have
but the Specials also, I mean, they had songs like Racist Friend and not Rude Boys Out of Jail.
Rude Boys Out of Jail.
Rude Boys Out of Jail as well, but
Crafty, you know these the specials.
Ghostpops put me onto them actually.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, you watched the movie like Snatch before, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you know that song Ghost Town. You probably know the song.
If I heard
actually.
it,
I know.
Yeah,
that.
you probably know a lot about the specials, but they're just like
Ghost Town, Rudy, a message to you.
Rudy,
Like those tracks.
Message to you is my
iconic.
favorite. Yeah.
I'll do the homework.
But they did have some like very directly anti-racist songs. Free Nelson Mandela as well.
110%.
Hey, shout out.
That's how they got big in South Africa. Like when
Yeah.
I was a kid in South Africa, that was how we found out about them, was through stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of decontextualizing, like Nelson Mandela now is like a liberal leader, like champion for liberal Americans. It's like, bro, like,
Thatcher called him a
haven't you ever-
terrorist.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, like he got the hammer and
I don't wanna
sickle,
comment
the
on any of
hammer
that.
and sickle in the back of his, fucking yeah. So, but yeah, I do want to as we're continuing to run, I would like to talk about the new upcoming projects and maybe play a track or two if we get
Sure,
to it.
let's
You know what I
Hey,
mean?
let's go.
Take a piss.
Yeah, I was about to do
All
that
right, let's
too,
take a break.
actually. Yeah.
Time
Take
out.
a
We'll be
break.
right back.
Junkin' for it.
Peace. Welcome back.
We're back.
Taking a couple breaks here. One because of a equipment mishap. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But as you know, I'm not even going to reintroduce. Right now, we're going to go ahead and play. Well, we're going to talk about the new projects that you both have coming out or projects that have been out.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you guys got upcoming shows, we can share that for our people here. And then I'm going to do some rapid fire questions where you guys can answer like a single word or a sentence or whatever the case may be.
nice.
I've got a bunch of those. It should be all right fun. For people listening in Tokyo, this Saturday at the Legacy Lounge, which is where I do the Let's Talk About It talks, and
Shout
I
out
like
to
to call it
Legacy Lounge.
the black epicenter of Tokyo in terms of a lot of their organizing and the type of people that show up there. They are going to have an event called High Five. It's going to be with my man DJ Tag, DJing my man Urban Aristocrat, and a few other people. It's going to be 5 genres of music. I know hip hop, disco, house are going to be played, and some other genres. $5 to get in, $5 drink, starts at 7. I might see y'all there. So, yeah, what's up with the new projects, though?
So, yeah.
That was a smooth transition, bro. I liked it.
So it's called Away Games 2. So it's a single to our 2021? 2021 tape, Away Games. So it's like, it's UK drill and
Ish,
I guess.
You know, like here's the thing: is like on the approach to it is like, okay, when I met Gabriel was like, well, I don't want to do drill, and I get that,
Yeah.
and it's like, and I get the idea of drill that you don't want to do, so I was like, okay, look, the drums can be drill, and then the other elements are not drill, and so that's what I want to point out, because like some of my friends, like being, especially some of my Japanese friends, being comparing it to like other drill, and you're like, but it's not drill though. It's like it's barely drill. Like what we're doing, it's the timing and the feeling is drill, but the instrumentation is not drill. It's like closer to like garage, even like, you know, it's
Yeah, like
closer
work
to, like,
and stuff.
grime and like piano, and there's like a lot of other stuff in there that's like, it's not, you know, we're not doing like Peckham or something like
Well,
that.
yeah,
you know,
it's not
we're
like
far away
drill
from that.
1.0, the hyper
No.
aggressive
Old tight
thing.
South London.
Oh, you from South?
Yeah, I'm from Tooting.
Oh, okay. All right, shout out to you.
Yeah. So, but it's just different from that, and it's like, it's just because it doesn't fit.
And intentionally too.
Gabriel's personality. Yeah. It just
Because I'm not
doesn't
gonna
fit.
put on like a, you know, that's not me.
That's
So
it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm a speak my messages and my stories and what I know and stuff like that. So
That's it. And it provides a better platform, I think, for that, because like, you know, we're not
Exactly.
beefing, we're not beefing with anyone out here too,
It's like,
so
this
it's very
is Japan,
difficult.
so it's
Yeah.
like, who's gonna understand that anyway?
Yeah. It's really difficult to like beef with people out here, if I'm being honest. Like,
I'll see them next week.
yeah, it's like it's difficult. No one's really about that, and it's like, so it's tough. Me and Gabriel were saying, and Al even was saying, like, one of the problems in Japan is no one gets G checked, and they should.
Yeah.
There's
It's
a lot of people who need to be. Bruh, they need to
If I
be.
see you on street, Takahashi. If I see you on road,
Yo, Mr.
Man's
Miyagi,
getting
watch
knocked
your
down.
back.
Some of them need to be G
Dickhead.
checked, like for real. Like us, Gabriel was like, it would not for any other reason, but it's like it would help them grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is
I'm
character
helping people
development.
grow.
It is character
I'm like,
development.
Yeah, we're gonna character develop them. You know, me and all my friends, and we're gonna wear bellies and we're gonna show up. But it's like, you know, that's kind of the issue with it. So it's like,
a lot of people don't get punched in the face in high school to
I
kind
was
of learn
about
how
to.
not
I was
to be.
literally. I was
That's
about
it.
to say you can tell someone who's never been punched in the face.
That's
before.
it. Yeah,
You
some
can
people
tell.
really
It's like
deserve
you're
it
too
yeah.
arrogant.
I was
Yeah.
thinking, I was like, bro, I've been knocked out more times than you.
Yeah,
in a scrap.
exactly.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's like,
Exactly.
Yeah,
No
it's
way.
most of these guys like, bro, can you even do push-ups? Like, just push-ups. But okay. Do you guys want to play a song right now?
Sure.
Yeah.
What song should we play? Gabriel?
Let's do Impel Down.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
So this is me.
Yo, do you wanna introduce
me.
who's in it?
Yeah, and Ghostpops featuring our friends Tay Dust and Bombero. Shout out to Tay Dust and Bombero.
Tay Dust and Bombero. Let's give us some
Yeah, they-
background about those dudes. Yeah.
It's like refreshing to see Japanese duos to me, because
Yeah.
you know everyone's doing like solo, and they're like one of the only duos I see. So it's refreshing. They got the
A
8-bar.
loose duo. They're not a group.
Well,
They're
not a
but
group,
yeah,
but
yeah,
a duo.
I definitely
It's
agree
like
with you. Yeah, yeah.
8 bars. They go back and forth. I
Okay.
like that kind of, instead of 16 bar verse hook 16 bar. It's like they're like writing their bars together.
That's
Which
pretty
is-
much what we when we were
Yeah.
in the studio with them. I was like, yo, you got to go back to back,
Yeah.
and then have each other do
Which is a
ad libs for each
no-brainer,
other,
yeah.
because it makes more sense, and it's like it also makes a more dynamic song. It's
Cohesive,
easier for
yeah.
me.
Right.
Yeah, it's easier for me to like turn that into like a song at the end. So yeah,
I think I held my weight.
Word.
Yeah, so shout out to them. They came through for the video as well.
Okay. I already did that. Ghostpops in the beat. Tay Dust Bombero. Tokyo dope say shit.
We're just on video vibing to it, just FYI.
What's that, the video?
No, us like here in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Do dance.
Take one breath and then I take two. On the glide, creeping. These times my still is a Egypt.
Cairo in my pocket, nothing like Egypt.
Me, I took the route that's scenic. Take what I want and leave it. Two lives like Hannah Montana. Cap and gown, hoodie and bandana. These times I hold my bladder. Used to piss all on them big dada. Want millions too like Lager. Wait for the drop like a beat from Kaza. Lost friends and lost my nana. Dance for the pain like I'm Mickey Jagger.
Tay Dust.
誰もできない手出しか出しちゃ疲れたなら take some rest 気が立ったらやるべし半年か1年目は just for fun 2年目から分かってくる敗北か3年目に咲いた時間一つも無駄ないこっからだろ本番先輩と呼ぶ先輩はないこの世界広いけど狭い静かな街から来たサムライ右斜めのクラッキー斜めのビーチ枯れた喉で潤してく財布飲み屋の口と日本式ライ千葉から東京領地拡大派手が白いあの子と赤ワイン
There's a million things I drown in. Jules ain't one that I put my crown in. Hustle don't let us sound in. I know.
I see what you're saying, like drill but not drill. Like that beat is not.
Yeah, the percussion is drill. Outside of that, nah.
Baddie in the next room. Come then play that next up tune and me and Ghostpops like 21 booming boombox. Ain't from that era. In college it was pro era. She wanna make me wait. Error. Kanji asuna yakara ni manji. Kenka jiman nara breaking down. Mou koiteru no sa is the brew. Umaku kawashiteru
Impel down.
花道より竹じゃん坂上忍がご意見バン一回閉じればインスタグラム砕いたグリーンクラス吸い込んでくラン I live my life until I die 勝手な態度ないだろうガイドウェイ見てないと将来はない終わりはないからあと何マイルか考えてもしゃあないだがたまに降ってくるターライ避けて進む My life から思い出せないくらい淡いTake one breath and then I take two on the glide creeping These times my still is a Egypt Cairo in my pocket nothing like Egypt Me I took the route that's scenic Take what I want and leave it Normal
That shit is fire.
Thank
I can't listen to this shit all the time. I feel hostile energy. Like I'm like, yeah.
It was super
That's
fun
a
to
nice
record.
Be angry and
Super
took it for
fun.
no reason. Like
That
man,
vocal
Tomoyuki.
sample is very UK garage. That's
Yeah.
very Artful Dodger, like
Thank
you,
bro.
Wookie,
So-
like that kind of
Thank
thing.
you. So my favorite producers of all time is Artful Dodger, and the other one
Word.
is Spooky.
Okay.
Spooky's
Large
amazing.
Up Spooky, right? So
Yeah.
it's like those. That's like really important to me. So it's like when I did this tape and even the previous tape, I try to get more of that energy onto it because that's stuff that appeals to me, you know. And it's like I love drill. Don't get me wrong, I like drill, but Japan is just not the environment for drill. It's just not. It's just not really like that. it don't even like, actually, you know what? We just led on to the thing I wanted to talk
Can
about.
I have you get a little closer to the mic?
Sorry.
Go on.
We just led on to the thing that I want to talk about. Gabriel, I saw a drill video the other day with two Japanese drill rappers, and they had fake guns in the video. Discuss.
I'm not surprised. Like,
Word.
but this is what I was telling you before. Like even the whole like the locks battle, like when they had the locks, and
Yes.
it's like I could address everything, but it's getting to the point where it's like it's tiring now. It's like I don't want to be that guy that's like always, it's like, and then even if they learn, the next person is just gonna do the same thing. So it's like. You can
I
look
don't
like,
like
a gimmick.
It's so thank you. Yeah,
I don't
but
like that.
it's very difficult. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with Gabriel, especially
Yeah.
when you're in the scene. It's very difficult to be like, this part okay, this part's not okay. It's
Yeah.
like no matter what, Gabriel and I are guests here.
Yeah,
1000%.
that's another thing.
We cannot dictate what happens here, and the location is the most important thing. We can't be like, well, you're making UK drill. Okay, Gabriel's from Hackney. In Hackney, we wouldn't do it that way. Okay, yeah, but fine. But that's not how it runs here. It just isn't. So
Why
it's
not
like,
have like a knife?
So-
you know what I mean? Like you could
so-
have a knife. You know what I mean?
So
Like
these dudes with like fake guns, and I was like,
I got a fake gun. I mean, I got an airsoft
It's-
gun.
it's
Yeah,
Pull out
sure.
my heat right
and
there.
I think that's insane.
Oh, I see the
It's
case.
like,
Yeah.
I just
I think
end up
that's
feeling
insane.
sorry for you. It's like you're a caricature. And
Sure, and I
you
agree with
haven't
that.
found
I agree with
yourself
that.
yet.
But it kind of like there's a part of me, and maybe this is like really, maybe this is petty, but when I see like the positive comments on it, like, yo, this is drill, real drill. It's like, no, it is not, bro. It's like
Yeah.
that shit is annoying. Actually, it's like, yeah, that person never got beat up in high school, and it's like, it's like I don't know. It's so difficult to.
I'm
to
definitely
explain, but-
with you, and I used to feel very, very strongly about it, and it's like, I don't know. I guess everyone around me was like, "Oh, calm down." So I'm like, oh,
You have
okay.
to leave. You have to leave certain baggage at the door,
Sure.
and that's like a
Yeah,
big deal
yeah.
about
That's
being
fucked up though.
and
Drill face, not
see-
blackface. Drill
see,
face.
Here's the thing: is like a
That's
lot
the
of
new
the other artists that like Gabriel and I work with, they don't work with Japanese artists like we do. Like Gabriel and I are pretty involved with other Japanese artists. We don't live in the bubble where we only work with foreigners, and we know a lot of our friends do that. And that's not a diss on them, but it's like when we are involved in it, now we got to leave certain baggage at the door. That's just how it is.
And it's conflicting.
It is
Yeah.
very conflicting. It's very, very difficult. And like from my perspective as well, it's like I'm the producer. At least Gabriel has a voice on the track where he can be like, yo, that's fucked up. But it's like I'm not allowed to do that. So I have to be a lot more diplomatic about what happens. And it hurts. It hurts my soul. I'm not going to lie about that. And I'm not going to say I gave up some integrity to do stuff, but it's like at the same time, you have to really
Pick your
question.
battles.
Sure.
You have to pick your battles. You have to really question about like what is acceptable to you to make a song with this person. Is that acceptable to me? Is that not acceptable to me? And I have to think about a lot of things. There's a lot of moving parts in it for me. And that's one of those things. And it's tough. If other people in Japan accept it, who am I to say, well, no, I mean, you can't do that. It's like, I'm not allowed to do that. And it's like,
it's the matter of like how much do you feel like you have a claim over those kind of tropes anyway?
Exactly.
Because the balaclavas and the waving the guns in the air and this kind of modern like drill flow, it's only really recently supplanted grime as like the predominant kind of London form of like rap music anyway. When I was growing up, I didn't, it was grime predominantly.
yeah.
And then the UK rap kind
in
of
that scene, and you had
Yeah.
the drill in the UK
Yeah.
rap kind of caught on after. But like the artists that the SBTV, rest in peace Jamal.
SBT.
It wasn't guys in balaclavas with knives doing that particular drum, pattern and those
No.
particular flows.
It was
and
Roadman, but it
Roadman,
wasn't
but,
like that.
It was ends and like I grew up in some bookie ends, but like
for the most part, it
it's-
stays on wax.
that's
exactly. Yeah. I completely agree with that. Yeah, Jet's just completely right. It's like, watching like Invasion Alert or like, like
Tim and
those-
Barry.tv.
That's it. It's like
Barry.
watching all that.
Tim and Barry came back, by the way.
Oh, is
Did
it?
they really?
Yeah,
Is
they
that
did.
true?
They're doing like these like live street freestyles, and then even the ad libs are live. So it's just
shit.
interesting. It's like they record the ad-libs on a separate track, but it's like not mixed or anything. It's just on the raw mic.
Right.
It's really
That's
interesting.
Lit. That's actually kind of cool. You know, the thing is for me, like, to take a tangent into UK stuff, it's like UK really came into its prime when it stopped copying other people.
Bro, and I was so proud. I was
Yes,
so
me
proud
too.
of us.
Bro,
That 2015,
can I tell
that
you,
was, yeah.
the day I heard Pop Smoke, I've never had a bigger smile on my face because it was like, oh,
Yeah.
now the cycle's complete.
You had Drake and Kanye trying to imitate
There you
what
go,
was
yeah,
But
going
you
on
know
in
what?
the UK.
I'm not too mad about that because they at least brought on UK.
They brought people with them.
Yeah.
Kanye had the
He had Stormzy
the
and
All
all
Day
them.
video where he had all the like he
Drake
had-
did that song with Heady One. That made Heady One
Yeah.
big,
Yeah.
like bigger than he ever was.
I'm not mad at that. Like,
No,
because
100%.
They're giving back to the culture at the very least. So
Yeah, they're not stealing
They're
it
not
and
stealing-
pretending it's their
yeah,
culture,
yeah.
sure. But yeah, you know, the Pop Smoke thing was like really made me happy because like I grew up in the 90s, and it's like New York was the epicenter. It was the epicenter of everything. And then to have a New York artist who's
using
like
UK drill beats.
using UK drill beats, not just drill beats, UK drill beats,
And-
very specific,
and
yeah.
putting their names in the titles and stuff. He'll
Yeah.
say produced by 808 Mellow or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and it's like that stuff to me was like, wow, we come full circle. It's like punk music's been like that. You know, punk is invented in the UK, is hardened in the US, then it came back to the UK, and it's like they live in this like cycle relationship where
I love this the bouncing
where
of
they do
genres,
that.
and then you take a bit with you when you bounce it back.
That's it.
And take a bit. and then-
1000%.
Oh, it's beautiful,
You
man.
know,
I will admit, I think a lot of those tracks were garbage. like,
Well,
like
it's the
like the
Wait, which
ASAP
tracks?
like the ASAP Nasty and Skepta joint for
Okay, yeah,
example.
sure.
DW's on there as
Sure.
well.
but it's for the. I felt like it was for the culture.
Ladies
I
Hit
agree with
Squad?
you though.
Yeah,
didn't like
yeah.
that?
Well, I'm
Oh, I love that song. What?
Bit of bop.
I might have to take Jet's side on that
I
one,
love
but
that
at the
song.
same time, like I think it's like valid for a
The
really
Skepta
important
Pharrell
reason.
joint as
Yeah.
well. Like, I'm
Yeah.
happy to see
Dope.
Skepta
Get that
getting
money.
those kind of
Get that
recognition
money,
and
bro.
stuff.
Yeah, he
I
deserves
didn't think
it,
much
yeah.
of the track.
Sure,
The
that's
reason's
fine,
more
yeah.
important than the rhyme.
I agree with that. Like I agree with that. It's the same thing, you know. So I like all that stuff a lot, and I like that the US and the UK have always had such a cyclical relationship when it comes to music in general, and it just didn't. The hip hop thing didn't go that way for years. Like I remember going to London. What was the hip hop station in London in like the 90s? I forgot what it was called. It was like on the you know the.
Like Rinse before it became like a legit
I
thing.
think
or?
you might be talking about Rinse.
You mean
Yeah,
like not
so-
a grime one. You mean like a rap?
No. Like it was like before grime. It was like garage. It was like even before garage. Like
I'm not
it was
sure.
like early. It was early, right? I'm old.
XFM.
I wouldn't have been born probably.
It wasn't XFM, but it might have been, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
so it was
yeah.
like you know, it was early times. I'm an old guy, but it's like when I remember like driving around in London with my uncle and listening to music and being like, this is fucking garbage. Like this is like UK dudes pretending to be American dudes.
Oh, I know what you're talking
And
about.
it's like
yeah.
awful,
Yeah.
and everything was corny, and it was like, you know, it's like 1-2 step and all that kind of shit, and you're like, get the fuck out of here. And then when they started just being like, yo, you know what, fuck America, I'm gonna do whatever I want. That's where it started getting good. Where they started, I remember that P Money song, and I forgot the song, and it's like, you know, that slang like this, you know, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, well, I forgot the hook now, but
speaking slang like this.
yeah, it's like
that
his
was his dubstep little.
and but it's like, and then he was like blood, you know, like you know, all that kind of stuff, and then he was saying all this thing, and it's like it was purposefully like Americans don't get it, and it was like purposefully like, yeah, you don't get it, it's not for
I think that's
you.
why Roots
And I think
Manuva's
that was
music
good.
stands the test of time as well, because Roots Manuva was leaning more into his Jamaican heritage
That's
than
it,
he was
yeah,
leaning
yeah.
into his
Yeah.
to
Roots
like
Maneuver I know about.
Yeah.
You know, like Dizzy Rascal I know about. One of the reasons, like, I don't really know about Pop Smoke. To me, I've always kind of gravitated towards music that I felt was like my culture. I was around in Texas when Swisher House was blowing up. I was there for a little bit. I feel a part of Swisher House, kind of that movement. I have like a stake in that understanding of that culture. And I was there during the hyphy movement. But my whole life I've been independent, underground, and I don't even and it's hard to kind of define it. It's like a 4-element culture because it's been so different in my adulthood. But like I never really got into the UK guys because I don't have any stake in that culture. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I've
I
never
understand.
listened to music just because it was good, kind of like, except for older shit. And at that point, it's just like, oh, I'm studying the masters. You know what I mean? Like when it came to like, I know like Wiley and shit because I paid attention, but I was like, okay, these guys are doing something really dope, but I don't know anything about that culture. I don't know who these people are, if it's authentic to any degree, if it's just fucking somebody putting on drill face. And I've always needed to have a certain level of like integrity associated with the music I listen to, because I don't want to listen to music as a product that's given to me. I want to listen to it as the art that it might have been supposedly created as.
Of course, yeah.
That's why I can't get into these, like, there's such a barrier between me and Japanese drill, because I'm just like, I don't understand how this is an authentic you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something is in the way of things here. And you can be. I don't know this, but I don't care enough to seek it out for who's doing what.
So I totally agree with you, Ashley. Like, it's one of the reasons why, like, if you look at the Japanese stuff I've done, I've mostly done drill more than trap. And there's a very specific reason for that, and that is, no offense to any of the Japanese trap artists out there, I don't fuck with you. Like, I don't fuck with that. Like, I genuinely, I can't, like, it seems like a character to me.
Yeah.
The drill stuff is a little bit, the drill stuff is, I can,
more dancey.
I get it on a technical level. Like, for example, we just put that track on. Tay Dust and Bombero, they're not drillers, they're good boys, right? However, on a technical level, they got it down. Bring me a driller from UK and they'll smoke them right on the mic. But everything outside of that is, is whatever, and they don't pretend to be that thing.
Yeah,
so I fuck with them like that. And there's a lot of there's a lot of rappers that are not like that out here. There's a lot of drill rappers that aren't like that you won't see me on a song with. And then, but for trap, it's even worse, because trap is much more broad, and more people listen to trap and are exposed to trap. And then it's like all this shit like, I want to be the Migos. You can't be the Migos, bro. You live in a house with your mom, 3-story house, and your parents got money and all that.
Set the guy out.
You don't know nothing about any of that stuff. And when there's the technical barrier is already low. No offense to trap. I love trap.
That's true, yeah.
Right? I love trap. I adore it. But at the same time, when the technical barrier is already low,
anyone can get in.
You're not bringing anything to it. And then when I hear these trap rappers, this dude came up on my Instagram the other day, and it's like, I'm trying to buy my mama a house and all this stuff. It's like, come on, bro. Your mom lived with her mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, come on. Let's be
houses,
fair. Let's be fair here. That probably doesn't apply to you. That applies to people like us at this table, and that's what that applies to. It doesn't apply to those things. So for example, so now you don't have a technical thing, okay? You don't have the technical element. You don't have that stripe.
I never thought about it like that.
Integrity thing. You don't have that stripe.
Yeah.
So it's like, so what do you have? Nothing.
Right.
You're your character.
You have the formula for trap that you can copy.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it's like anybody can do that.
Yeah.
But then at least drill has some technical ability that's involved in the rapping element of it, and it has a very specific technical ability to it.
The skip, yeah.
So it's like, okay, if you can do that, all right, you're already plus one. Okay, now you're a good person, and I like what you do, and I like what you rap about. That's plus 2. So it's like, I feel like those Japanese rappers that Gabriel and I fuck with and we associate ourselves with, those people are doing that stuff. But Gabriel and I don't hang out with trap rappers.
Right. Yeah, no.
How many Japanese trap rappers do you know, bro?
Nah.
I know a few, and it's not like that. It isn't real. It's not really like that.
Yeah. I just couldn't. I wouldn't associate with them. Like, I wouldn't associate them in person, so I wouldn't fucking listen to the music in the first place. Like
that's it. Yeah.
I don't want to sound gatekeepy, but I don't want it to be gatekeepy. But there's a certain integrity that I have to have when I listen to somebody.
Oh, of course.
You know what I mean? If there's something to be said about like what Bill Cosby did for black culture and for people, and there's something to be said about him raping. Like, as much praise as I'll give fucking Bill Cosby, you know what I mean? It's like I have to kind of stop. There's a line.
Hold on now, we stopped the line. We draw the line here.
It's a great area. It's just like
difficult
it's just
to
like
navigate.
my friends in like say the UK or Australia or something, somewhere where it's mandatory to vote, who like don't vote. It's like, you pick your own battles. This is like, you know, if you're like, well, I don't fuck with Nestle, so I'm not gonna buy their stuff.
Right.
Okay, they're still gonna be billionaires, but that should not dictate what you do in your personal life.
Sure.
All it is everything is a huge gray
Right.
area. So if I want to watch Cosby Show, but I don't fuck with Bill Cosby and what he did outside of that, everyone's allowed to make that decision for themselves. It's like if they want, if you can separate those two things, then that's fine. You're allowed to, in the same way that if you listen to Japanese trap music and you can separate the fact that he's talking about cooking crack, but he's from a very rich area and he's never actually had to do that stuff. If you can separate it, cool.
We make we make those concessions all the time. Like in America, black media, especially the stuff that is like, oh, like we're from the gutter and you know, this is the base reality for black people. A lot of the people who are making those decisions in those writing rooms did not live those type of lives that are commenting on them. They're not the ones that are putting out television shows about it are not the ones, but we give kind of like credence to it because like, oh, they're black, so that could be their voice. Maybe they're talking about their cousins or, you know, whatever. But the fact of the matter is like there's also an economic divide in a similar way that we're talking about these Japanese artists who are not living that life. You know, back in the day, in the 90s, you would never allow a Rick Ross, a person projecting a drug dealer. It's been like society and art has been so commodified and neoliberalized that everybody feels like they have a staked claim because their experiences are all mediated through things that they come into contact online. It's like, so
Vlad TV
I feel
talking about you, bro.
I was just thinking,
you know what I mean?
like,
I feel like I have access to this, and you know, even sometimes it's crazy. Like black people will be like, "Oh, that's black slang." It's like, bro, you're not from New Orleans. Like, how are you holding Wody as black slang? That's like a New Orleans thing.
Right.
But when somebody is online and they're saying lit or any of the new internet slang, Gen Z slang, it's like,
no
oh, that comes from black
anymore.
culture. It's like, so like just because you from California don't mean you have access to fucking Buki because some black folks in the UK, you know what I mean? It's hard to draw the lines, but there must be a critical assessment of those type of things by somebody.
Sure, I think everyone else has to do it for themselves, though. It's like you make your own decisions for yourself, and
we can't nanny everyone.
No one should be able to dictate that to you. Just in the same way that no one can dictate to you like if you should or shouldn't feel offended. In the same way that like someone shouldn't be able to dictate to you like if you should or shouldn't, you know, fuck with something.
Right.
And it's like if you're Japanese and you listen to the Japanese trap music, and I'm not talking about all trap music. I'm talking about the you know which guys I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guys who are talking about cooking crack, and I'm talking about the guys who are like using like Migos ad-libs in their songs and stuff. If you're cool to separate that caricature from what real life is, hey, kudos to you, bro. It's like I still listen to R. Kelly songs sometimes. It's like you know whatever. Like so
I still believe I can fly.
I mean, I've been flying, bro. Come on,
man. 12 play, I was all about that.
So you know, it's tough in that way, but I think it's such a gray area. No one can give you some definitive sentence that dictates what you should or shouldn't do.
Word. Man, we covered a lot of ground here in this conversation. Of course, you guys will be back because Mega Late Show's happening all the fucking time now, and you guys are my people. I've been rocking with you guys for years. Ghostpops, we've known each other for like 7 years, bro.
Bro, we go way
8,
back.
7, something like that.
Like car seats. That's just
crazy.
crazy.
Indeed. So they'll be back. But before we get out of here for this episode, I do want to rifle off a couple quick fire questions, see what your guys' thoughts on. And I may have asked you these things before, and I think earlier you answered my first question, but let's just get it off. Real quick. Favorite producer?
In Tokyo?
Just in general. And by that I mean it could be a beat maker or it could be fucking Quincy Jones.
I don't know.
And it doesn't mean like all time. It means like how you feel right now. You know, my answers change every Wednesday.
I can only pick one.
Just who's the first name that comes to your head?
RZA, I guess.
Okay. I love RZA. I love 90s RZA.
Sure. I like 90s RZA.
Yeah, I'm talking 90s RZA.
Yeah.
You don't like the Guitar Center video?
Oh man, I fucking throw up all over my phone when I watch that.
That's like my favorite video.
RZA is one of my most disappointing hip hop heroes.
What? Okay, can you explain that? I just want to hear it.
Well, you know, as I was growing up, as you guys know, I'm mega master of quality God Allah, so I come from Nation of the Gods and the Earths.
Zigzag Zigala.
Right. You know what I mean? I come from Nation of the Gods and the Earths, and I really looked at RZA as kind of like like a spiritual leader in a way, and also a leader of authenticity, and also just a genius. As he got older and kind of got more money and assimilated more into popular culture and Hollywood culture, a lot of his ethics kind of went away, and it became a caricature of intelligence. I don't think he fucking reads. I know he's doing his diary, but I don't think he reads. And one of the things that really soured me, besides the stories about his music interaction with his brothers, was also like he became a big respectability politics guy later in life. And I think like the only way you can arrive by that is if you're not reading any theory, you're not reading anything. It doesn't even adhere to the nation of the gods and the earth in a lot of ways, and I'm just like, it's gross to me, and I don't really love him so much that it like hurts me, but it's disappointing to see him in a lot of ways, especially the business aspect of the Wu-Tang Clan stuff. Right. So he's just disappointing for me. But I love 90s RZA, like in Unassailable, like every single project up until like Supreme Clientele, I love it.
Up until favorite producer.
Yeah. Does it include Supreme? Wait, hold on. Does it include Supreme Clientele?
Supreme Clientele to me is like the last album, the last 90s album. It came out in 2000, but to me that puts a capstone on 90s music, and I think the Supreme Clientele is definitely Ghost's best work.
Sure, I might agree with that. For me, my favorite producer, man, that's so difficult.
Didn't you just say it a little while ago where we were just talking? What? You mentioned somebody.
Artful Dodger.
Yeah.
Artful Dodger. So those are the people that got me into like making beats. Like, you know, the beat that I can tell you the exact beat that made me take it seriously, because I was making beats in like the 90s on like acid music on my laptop, right? Okay, that was like a long time ago. That was like 97, 98. Word. And all the samples in it are French. So I had like 12 French rap songs in it. It's like, it's crazy, right? However, I guess a producer that really means a lot to me, since we're talking about 90s, is Havoc. Like, Havoc really like means a lot to me. Yeah. And like when I listened to like early Mobb Deep, of course, but when Quiet Storm came out, that made me feel like hip hop could like move into like a different like, you know, like atmosphere. You know what I mean? Is that a weird thing to say? No. But it's like, it got like so much more artistic credibility from that point in the broader sense of the word. You know what I mean? So that's, I'm going to say Havoc.
Yeah. I love Havoc. Big shout out to Havoc. What is a perfect album? Not describe what's a perfect album, but what's an album for you that is just like a perfect 10? Like every single track, the skits, all of it comes together to be a really dope project. Any genre.
This is probably a cheat code, but Illmatic, because it's so short as well. Because it's only like 9-10 tracks. It's like it's hard to have filler anyway.
Killer line.
And that's another reason with Away Games 2, we wanted to do 10 tracks and not more. Because there was a conversation
had like 16 or some shit. Yeah. We just got rid of them. Yeah.
But I didn't want to do that because it's like, I mean, they're all dope, but it's like, I just want, you know, we wanted something more concise. Word. So
nobody hates on that pick. No, it's impossible.
Yeah.
5 stars.
Yeah.
For me, perfect albums, I guess I'll pick a non hip hop album because, you know, I'm sure you guys get hip hop answers all the time. I'm gonna say like stuff like Massive Attack, Mezzanine.
Okay.
The first Depeche Mode album, Joy Division. That kind of stuff is really important.
I mean, Massive Attack is fucking amazing.
Yeah, the first Massive Attack album is just ridiculous. Or like the first Placebo album, or the second Placebo album. Like, you know, Sing the Sorrow, stuff like that. Like that shit is like, that's perfect. If there's a skip in there, like I'ma punch you pretty much. Word. Like there is no skip. There's no right. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, perfect album means no skips pretty much.
Sure. Favorite animal?
Dogs. I mean, I know he has cats, but
no. I mean, I love dogs.
I mean, you could pick a fucking wildebeest if you want. Like,
I pick rhino.
Okay.
Rhino's always been my favorite animal because it's like, you know, it's from where I'm from. I went to Ueno Zoo. I went to Ueno Zoo. I saw this rhino. It was shivering. It was cold as shit, and I was cold, and I was just looking at it, and you see where it's from. And it's from like it's from like really it's from KwaZulu Natal is like where I'm from. So I'm like, bro, we so fucking far away from our home. It's crazy. Right. This shit is cold. I grew
up in apartheid Africa.
Yeah, it's like, yo, this shit is cold. Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, we're gonna say rhino.
What superpower would you want?
What's it called? Instant transmission.
Teleportation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a popular one. Yeah.
Just wake up and just boom.
Yeah. Walking's
places.
trash.
Yeah.
Walking's so
just
trash.
the walking's overrated. Yeah. Just eliminate that mode of transportation.
I know it'd be dope to like freeze time because like even if you're in a fight, you could win that fight if you could freeze every few moments.
Just
right?
keep punching him.
Or like, if the punch is coming, you just freeze it and you just duck or something. I don't know. Yeah, I guess that would be the.
Trust you to think of a fighting one.
Okay, sure. But it's like it's difficult. But I think being able to like freeze the moment would be lit. I would like to like make my decisions more like informed, not informed, but like with some more thought into it because I've made some dumb decisions in my life and that's why I'm wearing a mask.
Word. Worst thing about Tokyo. It could be anything.
Weather.
Okay.
Weather fucking sucks, and it's about to get hot. It's
Me
getting
and
hot.
Crafty like what?
I
No,
know,
it's
I
getting
know.
hot.
Blood. It's
I know what
getting
Jeff's
hot.
gonna say.
It's getting hot.
Yeah.
And
Tokyo
it
is like London, but good.
sucks. It sucks. If you
summer.
go the
Walking
weather,
is trash.
the weather where I'm from, and everywhere I've been from, pretty much, it's like the weather was good. Like you go to Australia, that shit is
California.
that shit is
Yeah.
paradise. If you go to South Africa, that shit is paradise. It rains like 3 days of the year. That's about it, and it's not even that hot like the rest of it. So fuck Japanese summer. Shout out.
I'm gonna say cultural appropriation.
Okay.
It just gets boring. It's like
I wish people
That's a
looked
good
where they were
answer.
going here. That's my main
Oh my
thing.
God, bro.
Nobody
When
in
I'm
Japan
on the
looks where they're
bike-
going.
I feel like they're trying to get that insurance money.
for
When I'm
real.
on my bike and they're just on the, like, come on, I could. Yeah.
I need to come up with some insurance scams.
Just walk into the street on your phone. Like
Word.
some bike will hit you or a taxi.
Cold water or room temperature?
You know
what?
Drinking.
Yeah, these days I'm about room temperature because I don't know.
Cold water gang all day.
Cold
Cold.
water. Gotta stay hydrated.
Um,
Shouts out to water.
What's the first movie that comes to your mind right now?
Training Day for some reason.
Oh shit. We just talked. That's like one of my favorite movies of all the time. But we just talked about Snatch before, so I'm gonna say
Okay.
Snatch. Yeah,
I think it's this room. It's got Training Day. vibes.
Blade
What's this?
Runner.
Oh, Blade Runner.
Yeah,
That's
shout
dope.
out! I got a little still
I've
from the
been
movie.
looking at it like this whole episode.
Shout out to Blade Runner. My guy Zuko in Scotland sent that to me. Shout out to Zukotic. I scored 0 is his producer name now, but yeah, old homie.
That's a great producer name.
I scored 0.
Yeah,
he's
I
a-
always regret my producer name,
he's-
but I always think of like what would be a great producer name, and I can
I
never
like
say it.
Ghostpops.
Yeah.
Ghostpops is fucking hard.
Thanks, bro. Well, it's just a snack in South Africa. I told you that before, right?
But it also sounds like a fucking deadbeat dad type of thing too.
I never thought yeah. It is, yeah.
I fucking like it.
Yeah. And now
Um,
some of these like young rappers, like the other day, like shout out Shas Boy, this Japanese dude. We're about to put out like a bunch of dope songs. Actually, we got in the
Shout out
pocket,
Shas Boy.
and we just put out a song this month called "Sticks and Stones" with me, him, and Tay Dust. Anyway,
Yeah.
Shas Boy kept calling me like to shorten it. Kept calling me Pops, and I was like, bro, I know I'm older than you, but no, don't call me that. I was like, if you're gonna shorten it, just shorten it to Ghost. I'm not gonna be called Pops.
I would say the same thing.
Yeah,
if
I'm
that
not
was
gonna be
my-
called
hey, don't do
Pops.
that.
Come on, bro.
Now, I used to call like, Brooklyn Terry, be like, that's my OG. And then, he's like, yo, don't say that. You make me feel old. And then somebody called me OG, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah, I'm 40, but come on now. Come on now. We're peers, even though you're 24.
On the
We're
park
fucking
bench.
peers. All
I
right?
definitely
The
don't
porch.
feel like peers with like people who come to my studio who are in their 20s.
Yeah.
There's no way.
They
They
have
talk
all the
about
time.
shit that like I had this guy come in the other day and he had a Kurt Cobain jacket on. And I was like, yo, dope jacket. And he's like, yeah, it just has some guy. I don't know who the guy is. And I was like,
Get out.
I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't know how to adjust that.
Charge him extra.
I mean, he probably died before that kid was
Exactly.
born.
Sure,
Outed.
exactly.
We
I
have
agree.
Google.
Shit.
Google
No,
is free.
but it's fine. I accept it. It's all good.
Why would you wear
You don't need
okay.
it. You don't need to care about what came before, and that's like kind of the beauty of
true.
it. That's the beauty of it. You should just do whatever you want to do. Like you shouldn't have to. You should like if you're like 21 now, should you listen to Tupac? Like sure, I think you should.
It's
but
nice
do you
though
have
to
to?
do.
Fucking do
wouldn't
whatever you
wear
want to do.
you know, you're not going to catch me wearing like a David Bowie shirt if I didn't listen to David Bowie, you know, or
Sure.
it's just weird to me because personally I wouldn't do that.
We're from the age of integrity. That's a bit different.
And also, you know, we're also from the age where like the shirts that we wear are usually like band shirts that we got from the event.
Right, exactly.
Too.
Yeah.
So word. Day or night?
Night, for sure. I like riding around at night. Empty Tokyo.
I like both, but I wake up at like 5 a.m. every day because I'm a morning person. I get all my dirty work done in the morning because like I'm an OG roadman. That's a roadman wake up in the morning, you know, early in the morning with the birds. That's when the police
Early
be
bird gets the worm.
sleeping. Anyway, that's it.
Hot or cold?
That one definitely depends. Because when it's hot, you want
whatever
cold.
context.
When it's cold, you want hot.
I mean, it whatever context you want to apply it to. It's open.
Cold because you can put more stuff on. Hot, you can't take. There's only a certain amount you can take off, and then it's still hot. So
That sounds like a coward's way out.
I'm gonna say hot. I agree with that logic, but I'm gonna say a hot just because when I'm cold, I don't even want to move, and when I'm hot, I at least, you know, I can, you know, get up and do stuff. Ride.
I feel the
or
opposite
something.
way.
Yeah.
I feel like if
Like
it's
when it's
hot,
cold, I don't
wanna
wanna ride.
Nah, if it's hot, I don't want to do shit.
It's
But
like
if
you can
cold,
only
I'm-
cool down so much when it's hot.
But what I mean is not move as in like not sluggish. I mean like I'm frozen.
Right,
is what I
right,
mean.
Right.
Yeah.
Blind or deaf?
Oh God. Blind because I do music.
I feel like the connections I would make with people are like their voices are so important. I would probably go deaf.
I need my.
I mean, I would go blind. So I could hear music,
Yeah.
I could hear movies, I could hear my child's voice, I could fucking hear sex sounds.
That's like a musician's biggest
what I mean?
fear, like losing.
You could still
That's
like,
your money
speak.
maker.
You know what I mean? Like if you're deaf, you sound different. You know what I mean?
Ironic because we all have tinnitus.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%.
My
yeah,
ears
yeah.
are ringing right now. I blame
Definitely
fucking.
had some scares.
I've made Massive Attack shows. You know what I mean? Like fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I went.
Yeah.
I played like death metal shows for like a decade. It's like, yeah, my ears are fucked.
I think if I could still hear movies, I'd be like, all right, I've seen enough. You know, I've seen fucking Spider-Man swinging. I'll imagine the rest. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also that would probably help me out with the goon maneuvers because I'd be looking like, dang, yeah, I could be at a funeral and be like, I'd have sex with her and her.
What the
and
fuck?
her.
What just happened?
I don't know what happens, bro. It's like the goon maneuver. I'm married, so
My man's horny.
I get backed up. Yeah.
His favorite animal is the rhino.
I'm gonna do this every time for timestamp.
I'm married too, and I'm not.
TSK.
I don't agree. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I thought it was the Andrew Tate podcast.
This is not that.
Right. Hey.
This is not that.
Yeah. Okay. Favorite dog breed?
German Shepherd.
My first dog was English sheepdog. So I'm gonna
Favorite
say
cat
that.
breed? No, I'm just kidding. Nobody knows what cat breeds are and shit.
I only know tabby cat.
I know, like
I don't think
calico?
that's a breed. I think that's just a cat.
Yeah, that's just
I
it.
don't-
That's just
I
a
don't-
cat
I don't know
cause,
cat
yeah.
breeds like-
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know
neither
about
do
that
I.
either. Yeah, except for Siamese. That's the only one I know.
Okay.
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, you know.
Pink
this-
Panther.
Yeah.
Beerus.
What is your most valuable possession? And I don't mean like my life or my time. I mean like, how can we rob you? No, I'm just kidding. Like, no, like, well, what do you think? No, I actually, when I wrote that down, I didn't really think about it, so I don't know how to address it. It could be your life or your time or, you know, your daughters
person?
or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, Mega. If I ask you, what's your most valuable possession, bro? What do you think?
probably my daughter.
Yeah,
Probably.
that's a good answer.
Probably, it's either my wife or my daughter.
Okay, I was thinking like your door.
It's
your
like my
PlayStation
daughter
4.
or that issue of Amazing Spider-Man number. You know what I mean?
I mean, if
252.
it's something physical, maybe my tablet, because that costs a lot.
That's
and
what I was
do
thinking
on
as
there.
well. Like,
Yeah.
I think my iPad is the thing that I use the most.
Yeah.
Word.
And I don't have any real sentimental attachment to my iPad. If my iPad got broken or stolen, like I'd just buy another one. But I'm not really like a things person. I don't own a lot of stuff. I'm pretty minimalist generally. Yeah,
Yo, iPad.
pretty my iPad.
Mm.
Yeah, I got like some issues of comic books that are pretty valuable. I guess, but yeah, I mean,
This
I
one
don't know.
here.
I mean that one is just one that I got sent. My homie sent that to me. It's one of the few comic books that I have here. But the introduction of the symbiote.
Yeah, that's the symbiote one. Yeah.
Spider-Man. I'm a Spider-Man guy.
I guess if we're talking about a person, I have to say, I guess my wife. If I have to say a thing, That's so difficult.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
You got the whole studio. Like,
Does the studio count as one thing?
Yeah.
yeah, I would say
It's
so.
a unit.
Yeah.
It counts.
I mean, I guess so. It's my place of work, though. You know, it's like, you know, I love my studio, but I don't feel like the studio defines like that's where I can make music. I make music here.
Yeah.
We got enough stuff to make
Yeah.
it here, so I don't really. And my best stuff I made at home on my laptop is like, I'm buying a new laptop recently, and just for fun, I was like, I wonder how much money this laptop's made me, and I worked it out, and it was a lot more than it's worth.
Shout out.
And I was like, okay, right, you know, it's what you do with everything.
Word.
So yeah, I'll say that. Yeah,
I might scratch that question off the list next time. I don't know how to address
No, I
that
like
one,
it
you know
though,
what I mean?
because some
No, it's
people are
cool.
gonna
It's
say
interesting.
Word.
something physical. Some people say, you know, something sentimental.
Okay. Also, before we go, I would like to give you guys an opportunity to ask me a rapid fire quick question if you have one.
okay.
Ooh,
Or me
let's
and
see.
Jet, since he's co-hosting today.
Let's
So-
see.
Yeah.
Who's the worst guest you've ever had on for whatever reason?
The worst guest I've
Me.
ever had on. Okay. And I'm not saying this person because I don't like them or their art or
You don't have to mention
even
them by
their-
name, but sure.
Well, I would say that my worst guess was probably Ryman Gaijin. And it's not because he's bad at anything. His personality and the way he speaks is just not good for podcast listening. You know, a lot of the time we were talking, like, he's the type of person you ask a question, he ponders on it for like a good 15 seconds
it's like
before it comes
he's
out.
really wise.
Yeah.
Like I've hung out with him a few
Yeah.
times, and he's really, really wise. That's what I'll say.
For the way he raps and how he performs and how comfortable he is, he's kind of an introverted person that just not.
It's just deep.
He'll stand next to you and not say anything and only address you if you ask him a question, and it takes him a second for it to work out the fucking.
That sounds like me.
You know what I mean? And I say that. Just not a good guest for a podcast. Great dude, I love him. His music's dope. He's dope, but yeah, podcast guest worse.
Yeah, I want to say shout out Rama Gaijin because he's
Yeah.
amazing.
He's
He's
fucking
fucking
dope.
amazing.
Yeah, he's fucking dope as
legitimately.
shit.
He's one of the sweetest people I ever met. And he fucked with me before we even met each other.
Word.
He used to fuck with me on Instagram, and
He's like an
I met
OG
him, and he's amazing.
Japan video vlogger
Yeah,
too. He's
yeah,
been
yeah.
he did it for like
Yeah,
a
he's
decade
amazing.
before
Yeah.
anybody else got onto it, type of shit.
Word.
So
Yeah.
All right. So what's your, if you could put it in one sentence, your life's motto, both of you?
Fly by the seat of your pants.
Okay, I like that. That sounds like a bar.
I don't plan for anything. Like, I'm a cancer survivor, so I think that's the first time I've said that on the channel. I'm
Shout
a
out
cancer
to you, Jet.
survivor. I've had to confront my mortality very, very directly from a young age, you know, from my mid-20s. And it made me realize that, like, thinking about career and the future and all that stuff is all well and good, but you might not live to see it.
Yeah.
So you should try and just, like, live, you know, each and every day like it's your last.
I'm with that. Carpe diem. That's the first song we made together.
Is it? Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
man, that's a good question. A lot of phrases coming to mind, but I've always thought that Jack Kerouac's line, "Pop cloud word hole," is just enough for
What's that
me.
mean?
A lot.
I'll research it later.
No, I don't know. Maybe everything is empty and it runneth over. Is kind of what I think. It's like most things are, you know, meaningless, but the meaning is spilling out of everything. And I've always fucking, like, every book I read means I have to read 2 more books. Everything that I listen to is
right,
infinitely, everything feels like it's trying to communicate with me. I think everything is trying to communicate. And I don't know if that's just because all the mushrooms I took or if information is something that is like alive and active that is like a plasmid of the human mind that just connects with it.
I mean, I feel with that. Like, what I'll say is, you know, my favorite bar of all time, my favorite rapper of all time is Ghostface Killer, right? And my favorite bar of all time is The Glorious Days Are Gone and Everybody's Doing Bad. And that actually, like, really spoke to me when I was a kid, because I thought, yo, shit, everything's bad in my life. And then when I got older, I, like, it turned from a micro to, like, a macro, like, sense where I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? So you gotta, as Jet said, like, you know, live every day and do whatever you got to do. And it's like I feel like that line applies to like so much of my life, and it like so that one.
I also like to say welcome to the fuck it I'm dope. I say that a lot. Welcome to the fuck it I'm dope. Yeah, I feel like that. Hey man, Mega Late Show. I've got their information in the bio and everything where you guys could find these guys. Of course, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell for notification, comment. Patreon. Find these guys, follow them, support independent underground music, support art, and yeah, we're fucking out of here. Oh, all background beats by Soul Dope 95. You know my guy.
Soul Dope.
Shout out Soul Dope.
Yeah, we're easy.